cop charged for targeting drug dealers to steal their meth and heroin for personal use. So I'm gonna be going over the indictment, and then I'm gonna go the actual sentencing. Okay. So uh, as you know, last May of last year, the rest of the world got an inside look into the rampant corruption and criminal behavior inside the Minneapolis Police Department after the death of George Floyd. While deadly force was certainly a problem within their ranks, a recent indictment shows the corruption spanned far wider than just excessive force. Ty, 28, was indicted last year on accusations that he ran a drug extortion racket for over 2 years. Ty, he faces 11 counts for abusing his position as a street cop to steal meth, heroin, oxycontin, and other drugs for personal use during the course of his duties. The grand jury indicted him. He was using his badge to steal meth, heroin, and other drugs, deception, extortion, and conducting unconstitutional searches and seizures. And all this occurred while he was actually with his partner. He was not on his own. Uh, he would confiscate drugs during busts and never report them. He also would pocket drugs turned in by concerned citizens and skim small amounts of all drugs he put into evidence. So he pinched them. In one instance, according to the indictment, Ty showed up to a call for an overdose and stole all the heroin and meth from the scene. Wow. He also detained individuals and violated their Fourth Amendment rights by searching them without cause and then stealing their drugs. There you go. And his attorney denies any wrongdoing by the officer and has pleaded not guilty at the beginning, right? I've been working with Ty. This is the attorney talking for a year now. He's a good man. He presumed innocent, and that's the whole story. Okay, but these claims ring hollow, given Ty's past and the details of the case. In fact, the investigation began not over stealing meth or heroin, but from excessive force. In his 7 years with the department, Ty had been the subject of 15 complaints, 8 of which are still open. Ty came to the attention of department officials after being named in 3 excessive force complaints in a short span of time. In the process, the department also reviewed footage that appeared to show Ty pulling a small quantity of what appeared to be drugs from his back pocket. It also says he found ways to hide his behavior from his partner and other police officers, such as placing the contraband into his glove hand, folding the latex glove over the drugs, and then stashing them in his personal duty bag or other locations inside the actual squad car. He would turn his body camera off at opportune moments during the searches and fail to disclose key details in police reports, such as seizures of pills he stashed away for personal use. According to the charge, he told his partner he planned to dispose of meth and then keep from his own use. And he would tell you he was going to go dispose it, but he would keep it for his personal use. You can do that a lot, especially when they hand pills to you. You can take it down to your station, and they have like a bin, and you just put it in there, and then they pick it up to take it to burn once a week. Also, this is a guy who's been accused of improperly handcuffing a 14-year-old girl. And then it says that the day after he was acquitted of that charge, he was accused of forcing a suspect's face down and handcuffed on the floor. While there, he kicked him in the head until his jaw was broken. Wow. Other officers present also purportedly assaulted him in the face and in the abdomen. He's also accused of raping suspects with a toilet plunger. Wow. Now, what I just read to you was not actual Ty. It was his dad. It was his father, because he is the son of Jeffrey, who is a cop on the board of directors of the Police Officers Federation of Minnesota. Like his son, he has a massive tainted past. about the handcuffing the 14-year-old female and raping the actual suspect with a toilet plunger. That was the dad's accusation. He was accused of that. Uh, it says so. It wasn't. The feds won't prosecute Minnesota officers in the plunger case. They did not. Well, I don't know how that happens. Now, this is either a rep of the actual one of their unions or his lawyer. It is quoting cops betraying their communities by extorting drug dealers and stealing their products is most certainly immoral and deserves punishment. Ty deserves to be held accountable for his actions. However, merely possessing and selling drugs to willing customers should never end with anyone in a cage. But yet everybody else gets 15 to 20 years. We'll see how much he actually gets on his actual sentencing, which is going to be coming up right now. Former Minneapolis police officer convicted of civil rights violations stealing controlled substances. Um, Following a 9-day trial, Ty was convicted of 3 counts of acquiring a controlled substance by deception and 2 counts of deprivation of rights under the color of law. He failed to uphold his oath as a peace officer. He failed the community he had sworn to serve, and he failed to his fellow officers. As proven at trial from September 2017 to October 2019, Ty, a former police officer with the Minneapolis Police Department, abused his position in order to obtain controlled substances, including methamphetamine, oxycontin, fentanyl, tramadol, and other drugs by deception and by conducted unconstitutional searches and seizures. As part of the scheme, Ty diverted controlled substances for his own personal by various means in the course of his duties as an MPD officer. He diverted controlled substances by not reporting, logging, placing into evidence, and informing his partner or other officers on scene about the controlled substances that he had confiscated. On one occasion, on some occasions, Ty would find ways to interact with or search an individual vehicle or residence so that he could recover controlled substances without his partner's knowledge. At times, Ty conducted searches beyond the scope of warrant under the circumstances in an attempt to recover controlled substances. He knew who to go to, basically. He faces sentence up to 4 years in prison on each count. Acquired a controlled substance and a maximum of 1 year in prison for each of the civil rights counts. He only got charged with 3, see? Wow. We'll see how many years he gets actually. And he should be able to at least 15 to 17 years. Might get more. It depends. They want to set an example because it is Minnesota. Minneapolis, I should say. Minneapolis. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.